We're Batman at 89.
Hello and welcome back once again to Bat Minutes 89, the podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and ascend into the heavens, and then plummet back down again with Tim Burton's 1989 Batman film, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And unfortunately, I'm the other host, John Parker. You're sick of me by now, surely.
Yeah, this is more, he's a eternal contract. He's actually signed his soul away to do this. Yeah.
I'm doing this for about 5 years, so you know.
But and beyond John, we are once again joined today by host or co-host of both the Harry Potter Minute and Ferris Bueller's Minute Off, Gary Roby.
Hi guys.
Is it Gary Roby Jr. or do you put the Junior? Or is that
I tend to just drop the Junior. I have it on like Facebook and social media because my dad is senior and having both is complicated. But I almost never use it like when I'm giving people my name.
Yeah.
You don't really get a lot of juniors in England, do you? It's not really a thing. So that's actually a good question. We weren't sure whether that was the done thing or not.
Yeah. I think in Junior instantly go. In my head, as it goes to Junior, so it's just like I can't separate it from Last Crusade. It's the only time I've heard it so.
I'm so glad no one ever actually called me Junior. That makes me really happy.
And of course, James Bond Jr., which kind of ties in because Sean Connery and all that. I know.
There you go.
Very few people, imagine, remember too much about James Bond Jr.
Yeah, I was going to stop you there. What the hell is that? That's probably for a different show, though.
It was a short-lived. I actually don't know if it was even short-lived. It was a cartoon show in the mid-90s about. The weird thing was it was James Bond's nephew, but then it's like, well, how does that make him James Bond Jr.? That doesn't.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
But it had a good theme tune. I remember that, so I'll put the theme tune up in the listener society.
Perfect.
I'm sure you're all waiting with bated breath.
Yeah. Anyway, James Bond is not our mandate here. We're here to talk about Batman, and specifically minute 68 of Tim Burton's Batman. So minute 68 begins with the Batman and Vicki Vale ascending up into the heavens. As I said, they're grappling upwards, and then it finishes 1 minute later with Batman in the middle of some action, in the middle of a scrap. So
with a guy face first in the trash.
Yeah. So we'll get dug right into that then.
Into the trash.
One thing is that even the framing of when they get up there, I can't help but feel like the whole grapple scene. It really reminds me of A New Hope. It's like the swing across the chasm.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, and it's even the way the angle they've got it out of Vicki hugging Batman. It's the same the way that Leia's hugging Luke, and it's the same. Positioning they are when once you get them up midway and they have their brief interaction, it's the same framing. I'm like, it must have been a little bit of like, we like to keep the fun of Star Wars and just we'll not swipe that, but it's a little, maybe even subconscious, sorry, nod to it in some ways. But
that's weird that I've never noticed that ever. I mean, Star Wars is my favorite thing on the planet, and I've never once considered that this is remotely similar. But it's exactly the same.
Yeah,
you're right.
Because even a thing clipped onto his belt. It's like the same. That's what Luke had a thing clipped onto his belt as well. But
I love the way stormtroopers have those, but you never see them use them again.
Oh. Hey, well, I don't know. Maybe The Last Jedi will be out by the time this airs, but maybe you do. Maybe that's a major plot point to the next movie.
Yeah, the First Order are using it.
Yeah, they come back like this time, like January. Nah, they didn't use it. As I say though, but as they're ascending upwards, the Joker's goon's car speeds around the corner. I was wondering, do you think their plan was just to run them over at this point? Like that was like we keep shooting and we're not hitting a damn thing. We might as well just run them over. Like it's all.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. And there was something that happens here that I thought was a really like harsh cut, because the car's careening towards them, clearly to run them over, and it looks like it's feet, like only a couple of feet away from them. It's about to collide. Batman is right next to the windscreen there. And then there's a really harsh cut, and it looks like Batman is considerably higher than he was, a millisecond ago. And the car's further back. Like the car suddenly jumped all the way back. I don't know why they couldn't make that flow a lot more, a lot easier. They've just stitched together two completely different takes there, I think, and not thought about it. Like, no one will notice. It's moving quickly. But we're going through it a minute at a time, damn it. We're here to ruin your movie.
Pretty much. Oh, well, continuity. That's all. It's continuity.
Yeah, I'll let them off. And if you notice as well, as the car's coming along, there's a goon hanging out the window, and he grabs his head. And I was wondering why. I thought, is he trying to stop his hat from flying off? Because on the few occasions I've worn a hat, that's a constant worry in a windy, damn city like Liverpool.
You don't have to tell me, John. You don't have to tell me. As a frequent,
you are fond of the hat.
Yeah, as a frequent hat wearer, I'm perpetually pressing it down as you go outside. The thing is, you have to have it ready fitted down on your head, because you don't want the indignity of having to walk along with your hand on top of your hat. It's really windy outside. So you have to,
or if you hang out of a car window.
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
I haven't done that in a while, so I can't attest to. I think I wasn't wearing a hat at that point the last time I hung out a car window, as I recall, anyway. So, obviously then at this point we get, the flourish of the Danny Elfman classic theme, and midway up towards this bridge, we it runs out. It's the momentum of their ascension stops, because as it turns out, Vicki, the two of them on the grapple together might weigh too much, so he can't actually lift the whole thing.
I was gonna say, I don't understand why it would stop. Like, they got that far. They didn't gain any weight going up the rope. Like,
yeah.
What made it stop? Did the motor burn out? And if that's the case, then it wouldn't work once he drops I have problems with this, you guys.
Yeah, because at first I thought, it's the momentum's gone from the weight. But then you're right. As soon as he goes, it just suddenly works again.
Yeah.
So that it can't be that, because the momentum, it's gone. So, it makes no sense. And actually, as a kid, when I watched it, I didn't realize that's what was going on. I think I was just a stupid child. I thought that this was the plan. This was the end of the rope.
Me too.
Yeah. Thank God I'm not alone. I was like, okay, Batman's getting her to safety, and then he's going to go back down and deal with the bad guys. That was how I always saw it until we did this.
But another thing as well, that I hadn't considered before we did this, because you always sort of assume he was taken off on foot, and then it's just like this is his last resort. But it seems like, because he was looking to go in other alleys and stuff, and the car was coming, and he's like, oh no, we have to duck down in here. It seems nowadays, from Batman, it's like, you think the grapple would be his first port of call. It's like, instantly, get out of the Batmobile, grapple up somewhere. There you go, we're safe already. We don't have to worry, these guys in the car, they're down there. Who cares about them anymore? We're perfectly safe. But I guess maybe back then it was just like, no, I'm content to run through the crowded streets before I consider, I've got this thing that can get us up on top of the roofs and stuff. But
well, I suppose it's more realistic, although the grappling hook, as I've brought up in the past, isn't actually realistic. But, as close as you can get to realism is, not using this constantly. He has to do a calculation, for instance, in order to use it. He has to stop and think. And I think that makes it more special and more interesting, because if he was just using it every 5 seconds, you'd stop caring after a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exactly what you do with the Arkham games, because the grapple you just take for granted. Yeah, and I love that feature of the game, of just like grappling around. That's when they introduced the Batmobile to it, and this is like, you can drive the Batmobile. I was like, I like grappling around everywhere. I don't care about the Batmobile.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess maybe we're spoiled with it now. But back then, it's like, no, this grapple is only to be used in the most dire of situations.
Yeah, because he doesn't even know if it's going to work, does he?
Yeah.
He's only ever used it for himself, at least, by the sound of it.
Yeah. And of course, he has the very suggestive line following that of, see that thing on my belt? Grab it. Whatever you do, don't let go. It's like, ooh, out of context, that could go the wrong way.
I thought he was being a bit forward there. Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, grab it. Jeez, Batman, calm down. This isn't the time for this.
It kind of lends to what you're saying, Gary, though. Maybe the idea was he'd go up a bit with Vicki, so she's in the air, and then go like, right, all you have to do is hold this thing, and then, because maybe if he just told like, right, hold this thing right now, and then just let go of her, she would
just let go of it, and it would have flown away without her.
Yeah, it would have been a complete disaster. And he's like, all right. Although at that point, they probably would have been run over by the car. So it's like, yeah, I guess maybe it could have been fast thinking of like, right, I'm going to have to go a little bit, and then I'll
drop back down and join the fray.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask that, actually. If you think, was he planning to go and fight those guys, or was it kind of a last resort because of the weight issue? Because the way he lands makes me think the latter. Because it's not controlled or graceful by any means, is it? He just sort of crumples to the floor.
Again, if this was like the Nolan Batman, or again the Arkham games, you'd just glide down. So you'd just be like, oh, you'd have the fancy cape. But I guess this is the best controlled fall you can do in the circumstances.
Into the garbage.
Into the trash. Uh-huh.
But again, this is kind of putting... you could totally read the scene both ways, because it is like, yeah, it could have been like, oh, how much do you weigh? Because I need to know, so we'll both make it up all the way. Or it could have been just like, actually, could have. Yeah, if he was always planning to fall down, then why did her weight matter? I don't.
Maybe just so it's enough to get her up there, because he knows she's sort of scared to do it herself, and it's attached to his belt, so he needs to get. He at least needs to be able to get her that high.
Yeah.
You could say that. I mean, I think it's probably more that they were both trying to escape, and it didn't work, so he's gone, well, I'll sacrifice myself kind of thing.
Yeah. As we see then, falls like a sack of old potatoes. But though he does have some kind of calculation, because he lands in a pile of trash, as we've covered already, seems to be quite prevalent throughout the alleys of Gotham.
There's trash everywhere.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think, though, because the last time we seen Batman, beyond access chemicals, way back at the beginning of the movie, we had a bit where he's dangling a guy over the side of a building, and there was a dog going past, and we were theorizing, oh, what if Batman had dropped the guy on that dog, and the dog died?
Oh, no.
Aww.
But now it's like, well, it could have been the same thing. That dog could have been back there. He could have landed and it's like, oh my God, killed the dog. Or it could have been that little street urchin who he put away in the whole...
He lands on her.
She's there. He just lands on top of her.
Oh,
and then Joker goes like, holy crap, he just killed a kid.
That would be a great publicity thing for the Joker, to try and, make everyone turn against Batman. He landed on this kid.
Batman killed this homeless girl.
Oh, no.
He descended from the skies upon her.
I mean, every time Niall brings up this dog, I get upset. And now you're making me think about a child dying. Oh, jeez. This show's depressing sometimes.
Yeah, maybe that's why they cut that scene of the kid, because people might have been concerned that she was there. And they're like, what happened to the kid? Did he land on the kid?
Well, thankfully, he lands in the trash, because one of my favorite things happens now, right? The goons rush over to finish him off, presumably. And Batman, he attacks them with trash noodles. Like, he goes to kick that goon there, but he also throws the noodles at him at the same time, which is just incredible. And I really wanted to see if they hit the guy in the face or something, but I don't think they quite make it that high, sadly.
Yeah.
Blinded by noodles.
I mean, gotta use your environment. That's what the
and he manages to land the kick.
That'd be like the training, when Batman Begins, of the League of Shadows stuff. It's all like, oh, you must use your environment, and all this is like, if you land in some trash and there's noodles nearby, throw the noodles. Like, it'll buy you like a split second of something.
Use your noodle.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Use your noodle. Hashtag use your noodle.
I also love when he lands in that trash as well, that he has like a little split second of a lie down to himself, because he lands and then he just sort of lies there for like a second of just like, like I'm so busy, It's just like, here's a split second where I get to just lie on my back and just be like,
Yeah, that brings up a serious thing I like, because this Batman, he's very human. Like, look, he's clearly hurt. If I fell like that, I'd be in a worse state, but I'd be similar. You know, be like, oh, jeez. And you feel for him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's not, I mean, he's a superhero, but he's not a superhero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not Superman.
And, because, as we see here, because, the beginning of this fight, he gets in a couple of good throws, but then instantly it was like a smack to the back and, a couple of blows, and he's back down again. And, it shows you, particularly when he's not in the advantage of having, like, been able to use the shadows and stuff like that to get the drop on people. Yeah, it's just like he's as vulnerable as anyone else in this situation, really. Beyond, what we'll talk about in a couple of minutes or a couple of moments about the what he's actually wearing on him. But yeah, of course, at that point, the goons finally are able to aim straight and shoot straight at him, and it seems to take him down for the time being, anyway.
Oh no! And have you noticed as well? This might just be me, or it might just be the lighting. I didn't realize that the cowl and the front of his suit are a different material to his back. His back seems to be a completely different type of material. It's like thin, but the front, the heavy rubber, the armored bit where they actually shoot him, it's completely different looking. Yeah. Is it just me?
No, I think that's it'll be a bit like, imagine for like agility or whatever. It'll have to be. I think they mentioned in The Dark Knight when he gets like the new and improved suit, is that they say to him like, oh, it's going to be the armor is going to be separated in certain places, so you'll be able to move more, but you'll be vulnerable to like knives and stuff because they can slit you in there, which comes up later in the film. But I think it might be the same thing. It's just for his own maneuverability. He has to have certain sections that are just like cloth and stuff that that aren't as heavily armored and stuff or just aren't armored at all. Well, I guess. But
I think his tactic as well, going up against these criminals it's very front on. He's approaching them, isn't he? So he doesn't expect really to get jumped from behind or anything.
Yeah, that's also perfectly true as well. Yeah. As we were saying, he gets a couple of shots in, and then we get, Vicki up. We get a brief shot of Vicki, just to see that she's up there safely. And, then we see the body of the bat as he's lying there. And we notice there's, like, one bullet wound. Like, they shot him, like, 7 times. Yeah. It's like, only one of them freaking got onto the armor. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, and I thought it was weird that they go, no blood. Because, I mean, even if he is dead, it's weird they would pick up on that. Because that suit it's very thick. So even if it has pierced him, that blood's not going to be gushing all over the place yet, is it?
No. I think it's because at this point, they don't really know that it's a suit. They're like, this is just some kind of, they're like not too sure what this is. So
it's a Batman.
Yeah. Yep.
That's interesting. I never considered, I think because we know that like Bruce Wayne is Batman, I never considered people of Gotham thinking that he's actually some kind of monster.
Yeah, I don't think they play that up enough in any of the
I don't
film.
think they don't seem to realize I always just assumed that people thought he was just some kind of vigilante in a costume.
Yeah,
not that he might be something else.
Well, we get my favorite bit of this minute comes up now as well, because it's when they say, "Who is this guy?" And you get the response of, "Check his wallet."
Yeah.
What makes them think he's got a wallet on him? That's the first question I would have. And also, why would he bring his identification with him when he's dressed like that?
Looking it up.
He might have some spare change with him, maybe. I don't know.
I think the most irresponsible thing Batman could do is just to have his actual ID on him. Like, oh my god, it's Bruce Wayne the whole time.
He's got his cards and everything.
Yeah, it's just even afterwards, Bob's still using his all his IDs. Oh, he's stolen my identity, Alfred. This is so inconvenient for me, But
well, these days it would be easy as well because I don't know whether you have this over there, but in the UK with your cards with the chip on, you can buy stuff now by just going into the shop and you just hold the card up to the machine. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to put in a PIN number. You haven't got to swipe it. Nothing. You just hold it up and it does it automatically in 2 seconds. You just go, boom, paid. Bye.
I know there's places you can do that with like your cell phone.
Yeah.
Which I think is amazing.
It's also kind of
cool.
It does seem intensely risky though, but
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Bob could get his wallet. He could get his cards if it was nowadays, not the 80s. He could just go on a spending spree. There is a limit, but you could just move from store to store. Yeah. Just keep buying.
Well, I mean, as we know from Batman and Robin, he does have a bad credit card. So it's like, it's in canon. But yeah, he totally could have got it. He could have got away with that. Bob coming in, the place has been like, excuse me, sir, my name is Mr. Batman, and I'd like to buy this Chrysler if you don't mind.
I'm very happy you brought up everybody's favorite bit of the Batman movies there, the Bat credit card.
But so like as the goons are sort of mesmerized, and they have this whole he's wearing some kind of they even in this minute they say to him he's wearing some kind of body armor. He's human after all, which is indicating they totally thought it was some kind of monster that they were after.
Yeah.
And the goon who says that, as he's known in the Batman wiki, is Fedora Goon, which is that's his thing. And the rest of them got berets. Bob also got a fedora, but this guy he's not got a name, so he gets the title of Fedora Goon. He's played by Carl Chase, and I thought I'd bring him up because his first ever acting role, John, you'll be happy to know, was in Brookside, which is two fellows who live in Liverpool. Brookside was a terrible soap opera that was set in Brookside. It was set in Liverpool in Brookside Close, and it was.
Yeah, I mean it's bad, but it's also very iconic to this city, isn't it? So people like it just because they're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean I say it's bad. It's as bad as any other soap, basically.
Yeah. Although I have got a bit addicted to Riverdale, which is a teenage soap.
Oh.
So, yeah.
But Carl Chase is also in. He played the old Lister in an episode of Red Dwarf, and he's also starred in not just Brookside, which is the soap that introduced me to the concept of Scousers, but he's also been in Coronation Street and Emmerdale, which is like, oh my God, the man's got soap for blood, this fellow. So
he's been in every British soap except one.
Yeah, and he's also in Tomb Raider, The Mummy, and Alien 3, which featured, as we said before, featured Nick, I believe. Was it Nick or Eddie? One of the two was in Alien 3.
One of them, I've forgotten as well. It was way back.
Yeah, but one of those was the guy who gets killed in the van in Alien 3. So, so we're connecting all the dots here.
Yeah, I'm a defender of that movie, so yeah, I'm happy to hear this.
Yeah, that's that guy. That's Carl Chase. And so we get them getting into this potential situation of like, I'll take off, Bob's like, take off the mask, which is a situation that, we'll see again, like many scenes in this film, sort of echoed in The Dark Knight years down the line. When the Batman's lying unconscious after a car chase, he's left lying on the ground, and one of the Joker's goons goes to take off his mask there. But of course, in this version, it's just a rubber mask where you can see they're beginning to tear it off. It was beginning to they would have made it. Mm-hmm. Whereas in The Dark Knight, of course, he's got some sort of mechanized electric shock thing where someone else tries to take it off, it zaps them, which is again seems intensely unsafe.
Yeah, jeez. The amount of things that could go wrong with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This situation, so I'll just briefly check the exact note, is mirroring something that happens in Batman issue 1. So
issue 1?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very similar kind of shot, and it's a bunch of Gotham City police have got Batman unconscious, and they're just about to take off the mask, and then he leaps into life. And they note that he's playing Possum. And I was wondering, do you think he's playing Possum here? Like he's waiting for his moment so he can get up? Or, this was all...
I think so.
Yeah, this was all... He's not unconscious. This is like, it's a calculated, I'm going to lie here until an opportunity presents itself.
I'm not sure. Initially, I thought, no, he was just wounded. And he's laying there. But at the same time, actually, to back that up, it's because he lets them get so far with taking his mask off.
Yeah.
That's what made me think that. But then when the distraction happens, which we haven't mentioned yet, so I'll just say that when the distraction happens, he leaps into action so fast.
Yeah.
It seems to me like it was a ploy. It's almost like he knew that Vicki was going to come along and try and take a photo, which is a bit strange. And also, that's my question, actually. Her photo, do you think she is trying to get a picture of Batman's face, or she is trying to create a distraction?
That's what I was going to ask as well, actually. Yeah, it seems it's a very opportune thing. It was like
I think she's definitely trying to take a picture of his face. It feels like I think she's just more. This is the story she came to Gotham for, right? Was like figuring out who this guy is.
Yeah.
It almost feels. I kind of don't like that she does it. That she takes this photo here. Like, whether it's trying... I mean, if it's trying to cause a distraction, then, like, good on you, Vicki Vale. But, like, why point the camera... Like, you didn't even have to point the camera at Batman in that case. You could have just said something. So I think it almost feels like she's turning on him a little bit. He rescued her, and she's still going to try to expose who he is.
Well, she probably thinks, well, he's died, so, he won't care. He'd want me to do well in my career.
Oh, it's terrible. How dare you?
It is bad. Oh, screw you, Vicki. Last minute, I didn't like Batman, and now I don't like Vicki.
It's kind of like the swing of Severus talking, last minute about, the appreciation for Kim Basinger's performance. But now it's like, we love Kim. We hate Vicki, though. What the hell? Come on.
I was going to say, if she waited 2 more seconds, though, this is what confuses me about whether it was deliberate or not. If she waited 2 more seconds, she'd have had her scoop. She would have had that photo, even if the guys were distracted and saw her and everything. Because I don't think from that angle, with as much of the mask as they got off, that photo is really going to reveal anything.
Yeah. Again, maybe you could say then it was always deliberately a distraction, because it's like, she could have waited until the mask was completely off. Unless I want to get every potential second of this. I want to make sure I'm getting the mask as it's coming off as well. But or even just to be like, well, this you need to see him with the mask on first to prove that it is Batman or whatever. Like, but
yeah, maybe.
But if we tried to be less cynical towards Vicki, maybe, and be like, no, she was always planning this as a genius ploy to distract these goons.
Well, they leap into action, though, don't they, these goons? I mean, they open fire on her within a split second. They don't even think twice. They're like, ah!
You have to wonder why, though, as well. Because the Joker wants Vicki Vale. He wants her alive. He wants her to be his, to join him in the avant-garde of the new aesthetic and all this. So them just going, shoot her! It's just like, well, what's she going to do to you guys? If she gets away, you just go, you know where she lives. You just go get her afterwards.
Yeah.
This is maybe it's just this is just idiot gooning, where they're just like, just shoot everything, It's like,
it must be, because what has she actually done to these guys personally? Nothing. Batman's the one who come and got her. Batman is the reason for all of this chase, and all she's done is take a photograph of him.
Yeah,
wouldn't they like that?
Maybe it's because the photograph also includes them, and it's like
could be
planting them at the seat of they can be used against them too.
That could be it, yeah. Because the police
if you're thinking logically, yes. But in this world, these goons don't seem to care that they being a criminal seems to be the norm.
Yeah.
Well, they're driving in a car that looks like the Joker.
Yeah. No subtlety to that whatsoever.
No.
I'm pretty sure gangsters aren't supposed to hide. Well, then again, you get.
I love their car. I think it's great.
Then again, you get what's the cheesy kind of late 90s, early 2000s gangsters, with the hydraulics in the car and things, in movies. I suppose you could say the same for them, or why are they drawing attention to themselves? But
yeah, I just think though it was just sheer impulse of just like, because they're just that it could be that they are blood hungry goons as well. They're like, oh, we're in a chase, we're gonna kill these people. They've got their hearts set on killing both of them. So now it's like, oh, there she is, we can kill her as well. It's just like Vicki does start a prolonged sort of ingenious little distraction here of the flashbulb. Yeah, then we get the beginning of a fight, which is very exciting. But I guess, because we get the full next minute, this all fight. So I guess like unless you guys want to bring up something very specific about, the few shots we get here, should we leave?
I like the guy getting thrown into the trash can.
Yes, that was my. I've got it underlined and everything. I love that because as she keeps taking the pictures. Batman throws him over the car, and then, as you say, he lands head first in the trash can. That's quite a bump from that stuntman. It's
pretty amazing.
I think actually
that's what's great about practical stunts, right there. People willing to throw themselves into trash cans.
I will also note that, like minor details, is that as the goon who gets taken out before him, as he's going over the bonnet of the car, it looks like they've got like Christmas lights in the window of the car.
Oh,
yeah, it's like little So it's just the Joker just likes everything has to be colorful and festive, or just colorful, I guess. So it's like got little multicolored lights lining the windows for whatever reason.
I didn't notice that actually, but yeah, there you go. Because when you brought that up, then I assumed there'll be Joker colors, but no, they're just Christmas colors. They're all colors.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a festive film. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe because we did establish like that a while back that this is supposed to be set in like late October. This film, so I guess it adds a bit of legitimacy to the little girl asking if it was Halloween. I guess, but maybe these guys are just like they're like the hardcore, Christmas people. It's like, it's right around the corner. Just forget about Halloween, forget about Thanksgiving. It's Christmas time, guys. And so like one of them's put up the decorations inside the car already. He's like, I can't wait.
Well, that's
There's a tree in the hideout.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing if we saw a shot of that. I don't know if it's the same in the US, but in the UK, that seems to be a thing, is let's start Christmas in like October.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, as soon as like Halloween decorations go out in stores, there's already at least a section with some Christmas stuff. Like, it's around the corner, so like people start stocking up, I guess. I don't know.
See, I find that ruins it for me, because then by the time it is Christmas, you're sick of it. You're like, oh, jeez.
I'm just like, it's been Christmas for 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. Because every like shop we go into, it'll have Christmas music on pretty much within the next week. It'll start. Yeah, definitely.
That's too early. I don't like that.
That's what I find, like those actors who appear in Christmas movies as well. It must just be like, it's just Christmas never ends. It's like, I get signed up. I read the script reading in January. All of a sudden it's July and we're shooting it, and then it's actually Christmas, and it's just
no.
It's like people who just work who work in those films all the time, like the really cheap Hallmark Christmas films, like Alicia Witt and Lacey Chabert and stuff. Like, it's just their life is Christmas.
Just always Christmas. Yeah. Perma Christmas.
Well, if I remember right, they shot Jingle All the Way in like a heat wave in June or something. And everyone's wearing their winter clothes, just sweating to death.
But it was worth it to carve out that masterpiece. All that suffering paid off for.
Well, with regards to Batman, I only have one other note, which is, it's minor. It's very minor. In the original 86 draft, which seems to be the only draft I bring up, to be honest, even though there's plenty of others, but this is the most interesting one. In the original 86 draft, the Goons actually managed to remove his mask completely.
Oh.
Yeah, and they do kind of recognize him. They're like, where do I know that face? But they can't figure it out, and Vicky's angle on the action means she can't actually see it herself. Like they're blocking her view of the face, and she's trying to maneuver so she doesn't actually get the shot of the face.
Okay,
that's actually kind of I mean, we'll get to it obviously again in the relevant minutes down the line, but like the 86 draft of Batman is terrible at keeping his identity secret, because like even in the finale, the Joker gets it off him and everything. It's just like, dude, just keep it on. All you have to do is keep it on your head. That's all you have to do. You failed at it twice in this one movie alone. But
yeah, especially because it's the start of a new Batman thing, shall we say. So surely you need at least one movie of Batman being effective as Batman.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm noted out, unless you fellas have anything else you want to bring up.
All done.
No, I think that's it.
Yes, so before we go once again into the dark, dark, dark night, Gary, would you like to tell everybody where they can listen to your shows or find you online?
Yeah, absolutely. DuelingGenre.com for Harry Potter Minute and Ferris Bueller's Minute Off. Both of those have Facebook pages and groups, the Harry Potter Minute and the Listener's Army, and the Save Ferris Society for Ferris Bueller, where you can go and join the conversation about the minutes of the show and the podcast in general. And yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Find me there.
Check them out. They're all great. And it's always fun to join in with the chat online as well. Same with us. Feel free to chat to us because we are on Facebook at the Batminute 89 Listeners Society. We didn't think of an interesting, innovative, creative name for that whatsoever. We couldn't be bothered. But we thought you'd find it easier. And we are also on Twitter at Batminute 89. And make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. That's very important. We will love you till the day we die and beyond. And join us again on Friday, because we will be back with minute 69 of Tim Burton's Batman.
Next time, talk about combat, as our frightful favorite engages a few felonious fools in flashes and fisticuffs. Which cutlass-carrying clotpole will go from melee to meleeing on the floor? Find out Friday, same Bat Pod.
Different Bat Minute.